Hi there, welcome back. This is the fourth video of connection. Connection previously to first self, then to higher power, third to society or the world around us, and then finally connecting with others. That's what this is about. And welcome. This is Clean and Sober. My name is Nick. I am not a professional. I am just an addict in recovery, sharing my experience, strength, and hope. Today, it's connection with others. Connecting with other individuals, other addicts, even just other people day to day, partners, spouses, family, friends, whatnot. Um, Before I get into this, right after this. Welcome back. I would like to read with this topic. I like to read with the connection with others. A few, I wouldn't say whole paragraphs. I'm just going to get into a couple sentences, and then hopefully this helps. And then with some clarity, and then help me with sharing the topic a little bit. Here's a good one. It's a partial paragraph that I'm going to read, and it's a really good note that I like to. It's a really good note I like to talk about. So, anyways, the disease does not discriminate, and neither should we. We know this is true in principle, but it is sometimes a struggle in practice. Some patterns of prejudice and discrimination are so deeply woven into our fabric of our lives that we don't even notice them. On the other hand, if we have had a lifetime of experience dealing with oppression or discrimination, we may be so conscious of its signs that we see it even where it doesn't exist. This one here is to me where in my practice and my beliefs that I learned about recovery and learned about myself, about with others, is that I found myself um, when I was a using addict. I didn't think I have a problem. Uh, I was one to discriminate others that were drug addicts and alcoholics. I would put such a harsh label on them, and I lost focus of myself during that time. But being in recovery, I slowly and slowly gained the the feature of opening my eyes in recovery. You know, gaining that deep understanding and realization that wow, I'm no different, or if not worse, and putting compassion, changing that understanding to compassion. I was able to put myself in a situation where I can help others that have experienced failure in life with drugs and alcohol, that I can actually help them get up on their feet by sharing what I've gone through to change my life, to get away from the drugs, get away from the alcohol, get away from all the addictive properties, all the addictive things, and get myself back on my feet and get on with my life. Another one I like to touch on is another experience that I've gained is identifying myself through others. And this is when I attended the 12-step recovery meetings. And the paragraph says, for some of us, hearing our story or identifying is all about finding someone who shares our background or our beliefs. That sentence alone, when I sat at my very, very first 12-step meeting, I my experience hearing a story, it was one of those celebration meetings, and that story was so profound, so intense, that it felt like when they were sharing, at the time I thought they were sharing my story. It felt like it was my story, what I experienced, my feelings, my my actions, and everything that I did to others around me, to my work, to my family, to everything around me. It felt like someone was taking information that I've done and felt and everything and just spit it out. Sat at the pew and just spit it out to a group of people, including me. And when I heard that story, I thought, who's this guy? who is he to tell everybody my story? But at the time, then all of a sudden a realization happened. This is not mine. This is his. Instead of focusing on the differences, like, yes, we are different people. We are each individually different. And we are uniquely the same. We're thriving for the same thing, recovery. We're thriving for the same thing, to stay clean and sober. So I had to understand that, with that realization and connecting and understanding the connection that I felt with that individual, and that was my first time in history that I was able to connect with somebody in such a deep level, that I was able to say, I need to do this. Whatever he is doing, I need to do the same thing. So in the paragraph continues, not experiencing that right away can be frustrating or frightening. I can see it works, some of us have said, but not for someone like me. And I was resistant. And I was very resistant. But time, motivation, and I knew that there was something there. Like they say the seed is planted. I truly believe in that. The seed was planted. It got me to meetings. It got me to meet others, and it's just to sit down and listen to other people's stories, their struggles, their strengths and hopes, their experiences, and what they did to stay clean and to get clean. Helped me stay motivated enough to stick to the 12-step programs. And with recovery meetings, it was just my way of filling that void, and that is my connection with others. Is First, I needed to connect with other recovering addicts, other recovering alcoholics. And at that point, I was able to use that connection that I've learned to connect with others, like family, with people like coworkers, and other people in society. Knowing what to say and what not to say is what I've learned in recovery. We define ourselves by our choice. The decision to have a family means leaving behind the independence we knew before. The decision not to have a family means that we must find other ways to feel connected to people, and so on. This tells us that everything has a price regardless of intent, and we find the profound truth in that as we move forward in our lives and our recovery. Every choice we make, good and bad, means there were options we left behind. We can get lost in infinite web of the what ifs. What if? What if? As we start thinking about our lives. The fourth step warns us about getting caught in the binge of emotional sorrow that can result. We come to see ourselves not as we were, but as we were becoming. Recovery helps us to live with the consequences and the benefits of our transformation. Fantastic read. I really really like that, because in recovery I've had to do a reset in life, and it's like becoming an infant all over again, and it's like a regrowth, it's a restart, it's a regrowth, because I've done so much damage that I became so infantile in my own thinking and belief systems, that I had to restart my growing up with that, getting clean. I had to understand that I had to start taking care of myself, and get a routine to basically start taking care of myself, going to bed, waking up on time, going to work on time, or going to school on time, doing the responsibility parts like cleaning house, uh, washing myself, eating properly, all those things, paying my bills, being responsible. Once we get a job, once we get ourselves, we find who we are, and getting and allowing this process of recovery, gaining a faith of some sort. Now the faith is spiritual, and it doesn't have to be religious, but it does have to be something that will help guide us in our recovery. And then finding our place in the world. Now it's finding, getting that connection with others. So in recovery, I meet many people who come in recovery and then find that as an outlet. It's being blunt, it almost becomes a dating service. It's a meet and greet. Yes, it's a networking system of other addicts getting together to help each other. But it becomes damaging when other addicts come to meetings or meet other addicts in those 12-step meetings and recovery meetings, that they end up in a relationship more so than taking care of themselves and then staying in recovery. I've seen many people come and go. I've seen many people come in and not come back. uh, Emotions are very weak in early part of recovery, and we always try to fill that void with some kind of love or some sort of feeling in the feel goods, right? Being an addict, I've seen many people fall in the traps of meeting other addicts and getting romantically involved before they actually were healing at a better level where they can actually start loving others really before loving themselves. But luckily to say, for me, I was able to witness that being told by my predecessors and my recovery family that don't do this, don't get involved, start doing these things, start doing the work, and then your growth will happen. Relationships will happen later on, and they're not wrong. So I loved my independence. I've gained to love myself and be independent, and that was part of my early part of my growth, my early part of my recovery. Deciding to have a family was something that I had to understand that I'm giving something up. I'm giving a portion of my independence to have somebody else in my life. And that was when I got involved in other relationships. I met my wife that I have now, not in a recovery home, but in a place of employment, uh, because it was meant to be. It was just one of those circumstances that it's meant to be. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to tell you in person that no, don't meet anybody in a meeting. It's just that it's not a good idea to meet somebody right away in a romantic relationship in a recovery meeting. But if you do, you do. So connecting with others is something that we learn by going to our 12-step meetings. And that is the best place to learn about yourself, to learn about your faith, to learn about getting in connection with the world, is through the struggles of being a part of society and then becoming more compassionate and loving to embrace another addict coming in for the first time who is broken and hurting and just needs that ear and just need that presence. I still attend 12-step meetings. I still belong to a recovery group, and I still have a recovery family. And with my recovery family, I do have a sponsor, and um, I still talk about my experiences, my strengths, and my hopes, and in my struggles in life. And I keep connected, and that is where my sponsor and my recovery family to understand that recovery is still important. We still have to put that as a priority. Taking care of ourselves a priority, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. And if you don't love yourself, you absolutely don't love others. So that's it for me today. I hope you got some value out of this video. And if you did, you could please a little like on there. And if you'd like to subscribe to see more, please do. That'd be great. And that's it for me today. And I'd just like to end this with let recovery be your path in a journey of life. That's it for me today. Have yourself a great day. And if today is your recovery birthday, happy birthday. Bye for now.